twist, and thank God I get to do this Raw recap and review from August 24th, 2026 in Ottawa, Canada. If you're new to the channel, every week I do a Raw recap and review. If you enjoy WWE content like this, please subscribe to the channel. Also, we do WWE 2K26 content on the channel as well. We just uploaded the part 2 of the micro on the channel. As I also do music, my newest project with my great friend Swear Guy, HTSG2. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. Also, the playlist for the project is on the YouTube page as well. Now let's get into the first segment of Raw. And you know, usually with Raw, we get into talking. We have LA Knight, yeah, walking out to do a little promo. Obviously, has to hit it with the "Let me talk to you," getting the crowd right. And he basically goes on to call Roman a coward. Every week, he's been ducking him and keeps sending other family members and keeping threats to have him away from him. And then he mentions how Roman keeps ducking him in the sense of giving him a shot at the title. He keeps telling him that he needs to earn it and that he maybe needs to win a tournament. But then he does a tournament where he doesn't even qualify to be in it, you know, with the whole Lucha tournament going on. And that leads to then Solo then popping out in the crowd. You know, he's cool. He's buddy with LA. Now he goes in to say thank you for the help he gave him last week. And at least it's funny because Solo kept stealing LA's copyright. He kept doing the yeah, then let me talk to you. And then he tried to go with everybody saying, and LA said, hold on now, I'll let you get away with too much. Not that one. You can't have that one. And at least LA going, now this is your warning shot. And they got a little buddy moment. But then at least the Usos popping out because they don't like that. They get out and they like, oh, we got a funny man here. They think everything funny right here. Jim's like, you know, but Solo, you still got consequences. You got to pay for them. And that's Jay goes and say, and now Solo, this is your warning shot. Bow! And Solo does the Matrix. He going. That pisses Jay off. He's like, you up to doing the Matrix? Oh no. You know what? It's really up now. We really want to whoop all y'all. And Solo's like, oh, is that a threat? It look like you want to fight, huh? LA, you want to fight? Why don't we have a tag team match later on tonight? And that is going to be the main event of tonight. And if you want to know how that match goes, you're going to have to watch part 2 of this Raw recap and review. Because, yes, if you're new to the channel, I do my reviews in part 1s and part 2s. So make sure to watch part 2 to get to the main event of the show. Then we get right into our first match of the night. We have Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez. This is Stephanie's first match since WrestleMania. And she's trying to knock down the whole Judgment Day. She's starting off with this. And the match starts off with Roxanne trying to run away from the tie-ups that Stephanie tried to do. And she runs away so much that she gets to the front and then slaps the taste out of Stephanie when she doesn't expect it. That pisses Stephanie off. She grabs her arm, pulls her down, puts her arm set up, and then stomps on her arm. At least the Roxanne then running away outside the ring. But Stephanie, she pissed off. She chases after her. Stephanie gets it back in the ring. She gets the trap right there. Boom. Stumps her before she gets to the ring. Multiple strikes back and forth, stomping on her. And they get back up again. She slaps Stephanie again, but Stephanie ain't going. She slapped the taste out of Roxanne's mouth, then grab her arm, and then get into some big arm manipulation with the same arm she stumped, you know, wrenching it, pulling it down, get into multiple pin combos back and forth between each other. But they both get up, and Stephanie hits a big boot to Roxanne while she's standing in the corner. At least Stephanie then trying to go to the top rope, but her Judgment Day buddies Raquel and Liv distract the ref. At least Roxanne then pushing Stephanie off the top rope and then pecking her up and slamming her back and forth to the barricade. That's how we get to a commercial break. Get back from the commercial break with Roxanne on Stephanie's back, and she grabs her and slams her back and forth to the turnbuckle to get off of her. But Roxanne then gets up, slams Stephanie down, then hits her with the big cartwheel knee right on top of her head. 1, 2. Kick out from Stephanie. At least the Roxanne, they're having an abdominal stretch on the Stephanie into a big rest hold. That leads to Stephanie turning up and then flipping around and getting the rest hold onto Roxanne. But Roxanne cheats, rakes the eyes to get the separation. They go back and forth, running on the ropes. But then Stephanie catches her, hits her with a big tilt-a-whirl slam right into her knee, and then picks her up for a big back suplex right into the classic, you know, the Devil's Kiss. Shout out Booker T, man. At least after she hits with the Devil's Kiss, she goes into the corner. And Stephanie runs up to her, but Roxanne puts up her feet kicks her in the face, but Stephanie no sells it. Says, "Come here," grabs the leg, and she hits it with one of my favorite moves. She does the wrench on that leg, the dragon screw. It look nasty every time. Then she gets her in the, then that leads to Roxanne being seated in the corner, right into a Meteora double knees, aka what Io Sky does with the bullet train. Goes for the pin off of that. 1, 2, kick out from Roxanne though. That leads to Stephanie then trying to go to the top rope again, but the ref gets distracted by the Judgment Day. That leads to Roxanne raking the eyes and then hitting her with a big Hurricanrana face buster right into a big shining wizard, which is basically a step up enziguri. 1, 2, kick out from Stephanie again though. Then at least the Roxanne they putting a little crossface submission on Stephanie, but Stephanie gets out of it and then picks her up for a big butterfly slam on her knee, aka the SVB, the Stephanie Vaquer bomb. And she goes to the top, tries to go to the top rope again, but another referee distraction. And at least the Becky Lynch popping out, dealing with the Judgment Day. And when Becky's chasing down Liv, Raquel's finna knock down Becky, but Stephanie gets in the way and knocks down Raquel, saves her, and then gets back into the ring. At least Roxanne hitting another Shining Wizard, slamming Stephanie down, and tries to go for the double moonsault, but she misses the moonsault right into Stephanie, catching her and lifting her up for the double arm code breaker. 1, 2, 3, big W for Stephanie. Her first match back, cooking. Good back and forth between the women. You know, Roxanne, perfect heel moves with the slaps, using the Judgment Day as backup. A little slow in the beginning, but they turned it up near the end, running up. I give that match a 4 stars. In the end of the match, though, when Vaquer is trying to celebrate, Liv is about to attack her from behind again, but this time Becky grabs Liv and pulls her down and stops her from attacking Vaquer, and then she gets into the ring, has a face-off, and they head out. We get backstage with Rey talking to Rey Fenix. It's funny, double Reys, and at least Dominic and JD to get up there arguing with his dad, saying, "How come you got all these people and you talk to everybody like your son, but me? I'm your real son. You don't want to respect me." And as they're arguing back and forth, Javon Evans attacks JD and Dom from behind, slamming him back. He said, "Oh yeah, let's go." And Ray's like, "Okay, let's go. You ready for your match tonight? I like that." So, you know, Javon got his get back for what happened last week. Back to the continuation of the Roman Reigns tournament. Next up, we have Rey Fenix versus Dragon Lee, and the match starts with a big tie between them, and they both started up with having multiple dual arm manipulation, the original both each other's arms, and they get into a stalemate of them dodging attacks back and forth, right into a cool fire lucha sequence. Then they both get into dual strikes, slaps, chops, strikes back into each other, but Dragon Lee hits him with a big, but Dragon Lee finishes off by getting him into the corner, hitting a big step over, kicking him, and then jumping over right into a basement drop kick onto Rey Fenix. And then finishing off with a big basement drop kick. Right, he's seated down on the ground. 1, 2, kick out from Phoenix though. At least Ray then hitting the big super kick on the Dragon Lee. He's now stunned on the rope. Ray goes on top of it, does the goodbye amigo, which is he runs on the rope and kicks your head like you're a soccer ball. Fire. Right into him, going to the top rope and then hitting the big crossbody onto him. Goes for the pin on that. 1, 2, kick out from Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee then rolls out the ring, and then he's near the apron. So Rey Fenix does the apron goodbye amigo soccer kick right to his head, and then jumps off the ring post into a big outside moonsault. He gets him back into the ring, and now Dragon Lee is situated on the corner, situated on the rope. Ray's trying to run towards him, but Dragon Lee reverses him, bounces him off the rope right into a big German suplex, right into a big super kick that makes him go to the outside. That leads to Dragon Lee then hitting the tope on Hilo on the Rey Fenix on the outside, which is basically a front flip over the top rope. That leads on to him jumping on the barricade, getting right with the fans. Goes on to a commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with another dueling chops, slaps back and forth by them, but Dragon Lee gets the revenge by hitting a big boot right into a super kick, into another super kick, and then he runs over to Ray like he's going to do Operation Dragon. He floats over him, but he then instead turns into a big sit-out power bomb. Crazy. 1, 2, kick out from Phoenix though. He not landing. He not going out like that. At least then Ray hitting a big super kick of his own, then going to the top rope, hitting a big moonsault on Dragon Lee. 1, too. But Lee got the fire in him too. He not going out like that. Then Rey said, hold on, let me get my own powerbomb in. Slam it down. But then another kick out from Lee. They were going back and forth from this match. It was crazy. That leads to Dragon Lee then trying to go to the top rope. But Rey jumps up there, punches him down, tries to go for the Hurricanrana off of it, but he gets caught by Lee. He puts him down for the big corner stuff. And again, I'm gonna say it again. That should be his finisher, because you know Rey Fenix kicked out of it again, which is dumb. But then they go to the outside and they're fighting. And they're fighting on top of the table and everything. Lee gets the advantage by knocking him down and goes back into the ring and does the suicide cannonball. He flips when he jumps through the ropes, right onto him on that table, knocks him all the way down. Insane, by the way. Gets him back into the ring, then grabs him for a tornado DDT off the rope. Boom. That gotta be it, right? 1, 2. But Fenix not going like that. I said they cooking. Oh my. Rey gets him up, tries to go for Operation Dragon, but that gets reversed by Lee gets him up, tries to go for Operation Dragon, but that gets reversed by Rey right into a big brain buster. And then he tries to go for the Mexican muscle buster. He gets him to the corner. He lifts him up, but that leads to Lee dropping down and going for the pin. But he picks him up with the pin right into the big Styles clash. Shout out AJ Styles. Boom. 1, 2, but he kicks out again. That man Rey want to get that title shot bad. That leads to then Lee. He getting hype in the corner. He's finna run towards Rey, but Rey does a front flip jump right into a big cutter on that man. I said, damn. For the pin on that. 1, 2, kick out from Lee. They want to fight Roman bad, man. They gonna be cooked by the time they get to him if they make it. Shit. That leads to Lee then getting to the top rope again, but this time Rey hits him with the big enziguri kick, making him stun. That leads to Rey grabbing him. He finally lands the spinning Mexican muscle buster. 1, 2, 3. Good W for Rey Fenix, and he moves on to the finals. That match is a 5-star classic. Great back and forths. Everyone got their moves in. Even though Dragon Lee be losing, he be looking cold when he lose, man. I gotta give it to him. And so Rey moves on to the finals, and he's gonna know his opponent because they're gonna have another match. It's gonna be on part 2, so make sure to watch part 2 between Penta and La Parka to know what happened with that. And a good thing after the match, they show respect to each other. They dap up. That man Rey Fenix holding Dragon Lee on his shoulders like he a baby. Hilarious. Then we move on to the last segment of part 1. We get the special, which is crazy. It was not that special when you think about it because there ain't no belt on the line. But we get Obafemi and Braun Breaker doing their contract signing for Saturday night's main event. Adam Pearce does the intro for Obafemi. He walks out. That man Oba like, come on, man. We ain't got all day. Paul Heyman does his big spiel for Braun Breaker. He pops out. They sit down. Pearce gives Braun Breaker the contract. Say, sign that thing so we can get it going. And Braun's like, who do you think you are, Oba? You know, what have you done to say that you're the future of WWE? You know, you beat Brock? Okay. You squashed some people? Okay. But you got any championships, though? You got any big accolades? I do. He says, you know, before you got here, I was the talk of the town, and I was the future here, but then I got hurt. So then you weaseled your way into the ring. You got the fans that I had and everything. You got them all barking and everything. You took my spot. Oba's like, oh, okay. He says, you know, Oba's like, you know, Braun, why are you such an angry orange man? And Braun like, I'm orange? Look, he says, he goes on to say, like, I'm not looking under you. Like, I respect that you were one of the top guys in this company, but here's the thing. If it was 2002 and you was fighting John Cena, you would have been the top guy. If it was 2015 and it was Roman Reigns here, you would have been the top guy, but it's 2026. And you wasn't lucky enough to be with Obafemi. I'm the top guy. You can't beat me. I'm levels ahead of you in every single thing when it comes to the squared circle. And Braun goes, you know what? That's cool. That's cool. You know what? I love the fact that everybody here is glazing Obafemi. When it gets to Saturday night's main event, I'm going to put Obafemi through deep waters, something he's never experienced before. And I'm going to prove that I am the big dog, the top guy. It's Braun then going on signing the contract. And he stands up with the contract. He said, you know what? You want to sign it? I said, your daddy signed it. Point at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's like, what you doing, bro? Why you tweaking like this? Braun said, you know, all these weeks you've been dealing with Paul Heyman. He been all in your meeting and everything. So you know what? You signed it, Paul. And Paul's like, hold on. No, I said, sign it, Paul. He pressing up on that man, and he sneak attack punch Femi in the face. That leads to a big brawl back and forth between them, punching forward, back and forth. But Austin Theory runs into the ring and to give Braun Breaker some help. Then at least them start jumping on Femi. Austin Theory holds it over Femi so he can get the Braun Breaker spear. But big boot before the spear come in. He clothesline that man Braun out the ring. Then he start whooping on Austin Theory, and then he does the big throw suplex right onto the contract signing table. He geeked, he angry. He picked up the contract. Said this gonna be U.S. Airlines main event. Running away. Sign that thing and said, here your weak ass contract. Throw it at him, man. Over Femi, he gonna whoop the dog shit out of Braun. I'm sorry. It's gonna be belt to ass. Like Braun gonna get some offense in, but it's gonna be belt to ass, man. You're not gonna be cooking like that, Braun. But I can't wait. It'll be a good match. I can't wait. But Oba definitely getting that dub. But if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel so you can watch part 2, man. We got more crazy stuff going on in this review. So make sure to check it out. It should be right here at the end video. Remember, y'all, Jesus loves you. Now watch part 2.